Hey everyone, welcome back. Um, yeah, it's been a long time since I posted a video. I've just been busy looking for work. Um, yeah, freelancing, all that kind of stuff. But I just thought I'd do a video because what I've so basically I've got a new job, um, and it's a full stack developer role, and I know that they use Vue, and I don't have much experience with Vue, so I thought to myself, I have got a SaaS app I can actually just rewrite. That way I can actually learn Vue. So the purpose of this video is just to kind of my thoughts on using Vue. And yeah, it's just a discussion on my thoughts on using VUE.js. So this is my SaaS app, as you can see, and it's just built using Django and HTMX, and it works really well. Some of the stuff on this works very, very well. But I thought to myself, okay, let's just rewrite this. That way I can learn Vue, and it'll help on the job. So I've kind of almost rewritten it, most of it. This is what it looks like now, and I've gone for more of a dark theme, and this is pretty much all Vue. And my thoughts so far, I actually love it. Can't believe I didn't use it already. I've actually just worked with React, and I just love Vue, the way it's set up, and the simplicity and things like that. So I just want to talk about that today. So the first thing with Vue that stood out to me was something called slots. In Vue you have this concept of slots, and if you come from the Django world that I do, where you can have like a block content and then you inherit that content and you put in the new content and so on and so forth. In Vue you also have that same concept of slots. So for example, down here in my base layout, you can see I've got a slot for navigation, I've got a slot for content, and then when I call the base layout, I just pass in my navigation and I pass in my content, which is pretty cool. So it almost gives you that Django-ish kind of feel to it. So that was the first thing that really caught my eye. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. The second thing I've noticed compared to React is you don't have JSX, which is good. I don't have to then learn a whole new thing and all of that complexity. You then have to have bundlers to kind of compilers to then take that JSX and do whatever with it. So I love the idea of just having a template, and then you have your JavaScript, which is an object. You export that object. So in this case, it's the app and the components I'm using, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was pretty cool. The other thing that stood out to me with Vue was the way you can actually just bind things between the data and the HTML, which I thought was very, very cool. So, for example, let me see. Where can I give an example? So this one here, for example, the V model directive, I think they're called in Vue. It just binds the value for the input directly to the variable in your JavaScript. So in this case, password here, automatically. So as soon as someone's typing, it's automatically getting added to the variable, which I thought was very, very cool. So a lot of the stuff, these directives, VF do something, VLs do something, and then you just put the error variable there, and then you can automatically have events triggered. So you can do like an @click and then equal something would be the method you're calling. So that was a cool thing. The other thing I noticed with Vue that I really loved was the routers. So so you can see it here. I'm using the route view. You can actually pass down props to the route view, and anything that's the route view then renders has these values in it, which is pretty damn cool. So for example, if someone clicks on users and the login form component is rendered, all those props are then available to these components, which I thought was very, very cool. Love that bit. So yeah, and then the rest of it is pretty JavaScript-ish kind of. And another thing I noticed was I had this issue where For example, if I log in, let me just log in. If I log in, you notice here I've got these credits for each user. What was happening was, as soon as I logged in, even though I was getting the data, the nav bar was not getting updated. And then I noticed you could actually have like variables. So in this case, when the component loads, the nav bar key is 0. When the child component, in this case the login, gets this set is authenticated callback that I pass to the where is it? No, sorry, I don't pass that. I pass it to the login component, gets this set authenticated. So as soon as it logs in, it hits this callback. The callback then triggers the nav bar to increase, causing Vue to then re-render the nav bar, which I thought was pretty cool. Rather than re-rendering the entire app, it just renders the nav bar, because that's what needs to change, because once you log in, I need to tell the user what their credits are, for example. So I thought that was pretty cool. The other things I noticed with Vue, what else? I'm trying to think. One of the things that caught me out a bit with Vue was when you declare your methods. In this case, let's say this callback. If it's not within the methods object, any child components don't actually get this. So for example, what was happening was I had set authenticated outside the methods object, and then in login form I was like, so I've got these props saying, oh, I'm going to get a prop called set is authenticated, but every time I called it, nothing was happening. I was like, what the hell is that going on? Suddenly realized that it has to be within the methods object. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm loving Vue. I must say, I'm really loving it. And I've only done the base. I've not done any state at this point, which I will tackle later on when I start getting the images for each user and deleting and adding and all of that stuff. So at the moment, it's working really well. In development, I've got the front end in a separate container. For production, I might just find a way to build this into like a Django template or something, so Django renders it in production. That's the plan, but we'll see. So yeah, I mean, you can see it works pretty well. If I log in, and let's say I'm here and I don't have an account, I can log in with Google, for example. Connect, and it will log in automatically. And you can see now I'm logged in with Google rather than creating an account and all of that stuff. So I've still got a lot more to do. If I log out, I have just to stop bots filling stuff in. If you try and sign in, it'll say, please verify you're not a robot, all of this stuff, and that works. Sign in now, it'll say invalid username password because it is invalid. So all of this stuff really works. I've done all the authentication. I know that all of the authentication works. You can sort of forgotten password, put your password in, and then it'll send you an email, and then I've done all of that stuff. So it pretty works. I've just got to do all of this, all of the other components. Then I've got to do the other bits where I can actually implement all the services, so generate an image, remove background, all of this stuff I still got to do. So this is left, and then once that's done, I'm pretty much done rewriting this. I still got to write some tests, but apart from that, yeah, works really well. So I'm loving Vue, I must say. I'm really loving it. I've still got bits and bobs to do, but so far I think if I have to do front end, Vue would probably be my go-to. I think I just love it, the way it works. So yeah, that's what this video was all about, just talking about Vue. If you're new to the channel, I'm Andy, full stack developer. I start a new job next week, so and I've been kind of looking for work for a year and a half on off. So I might do another video on things I did to get a job and how it helped and all of that stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Like and subscribe, and yeah, have a good day. Bye.